Yeah, my paper is titled as Morphological Freedom, Posthumanist Mirage in Medical Humanities. So this is the very paper, the very article where I try to exist a kind of similarities between what will be the catastrophic end of medical humanities, or in terms of human, quote unquote human. Anyway, so in the I'm just starting from my introduction, and what is the basic, contextualizing the fact. So in the era of developed medical and technological science, everything has been a means of developing life. And medicine also has increased human immunity and provides strength to fight against nature, etc., etc. And also there is internet, there is network system, helps a lot for education, business, communication, and whatnot. It's sure, it's right, but which are obviously a holistic approach of human well-being. And the modern days are very much habitual of using cosmetics like anti-aging creams, like body transforming, body transplantation, you can say. And but there is a kind of question or kind of ethical problem that it is again a non-human. Okay, it is again a non-human or a machine or a chemical which dominates and controls us, which we assumed with an error of judgment as a means of our well-being. Uh, we are I can say we are just like a foolish Caliban, if I allude Shakespeare's The Tempest. Now this Caliban, this particular figure, got impressed by Stephano and his celestial liquor, as Caliban himself took it, and also wanted to be Stephano's servant, to be free from Prospero's colonization. He conspires with Stephano to force and fight against Prospero, which is quite foolish and humorous. But quite tragically, this means the destruction and loss of existence for man, which is clearly shown in Margaret Atwood's Oryx and Crake through the super pill called Blysspluss. And this Blysspluss, what is the very basic history of this Blysspluss is that it promises health and happiness. It promises health, sustainability of health, etc., etc., but secretly causes sterilization, and which could be considered as a synonym for extinction of our human race. The non-human in every case thus found a plane of immanence. Now, I can say from Deleuze that it's a plane of immanence that are being set by the non-humans to make their existence stable, and so that they can force a violent protest against the human being, against the human race. Now, here I discourse this human transformation by using the familiar narrative of Kafka's The Metamorphoses. The transformation or the metamorphosis of Franz Kafka's locked-up protagonist into an insect is is a kind of allegorical account of human adaptability to hostile and livable climatic conditions. This discourse inverts the demise of Kafka's protagonist by celebrating his mutation, as it is seen to point a conception of human life that is protected from and no longer contributing to the climate disaster. When actually, what actually happens in the text is the loss of phenomena. As I have found it, that it's a loss of phenomena. It's a loss of human phenomena and the birth of noumena within the human society. Because what noumena is a world of non-humans. Is the world of not, if I make wrong, not non-humans, but it's a world of our unknown citizens. Okay, so these non-humans, their laws and order that is indiscernible to humans. The protagonist here, Gregor Samsa, has turned into a non-human physically, but still has a human soul. Now here I can say that this Gregor Samsa, this protagonist, has been transformed into an animal figure. Also within the soul, within the psyche, he is also an animal. So it might be a message that animal body can have also a kind of particular soul, a kind of particular mind and thinking ideology, etc., etc. So this might be an expression, this might be a message from this particular text, Now, the most interesting fact is that the text suggests a world of alienation, as I can see, a world of alienation, okay, because where all are unknown to another, and thus it is the loss of phenomena in crux of human egotistical anthropocentrism. The case of allegorical Gregory is highly complex and pathetic, and the presence of human soul with human body and human soul, But Gregor, the victim, is fully aware of this reality, but he is unable to make them understand the reality. My point is this crucial discourse of the text simply points at the future of morphological freedom. As you can see, that this morphological freedom, what is the catastrophic future of this morphological freedom, is the very equal to this condition of metamorphosis faced by this Gregor Samsa. The fact is, morphological freedom does not provide any kind of freedom. It's a ironical freedom. It's a paradoxical freedom, because rather it brings a neglected noumena, within our soul. The loss of our original body changes the self, because what hylomorphism says is that body and soul together form a self, which is faced by massive perturbation. It brings against a Cartesian dualism, the mind-body problem. In addition, the morphological freedom also hampers the self-reliance, self-recognition, because through it, human creates a noumena within oneself too. If I can say from Leibniz's point of view, Leibniz, in his famous principle of analytic ideology, the identity of indiscernible, he suggests that there cannot be two things exactly same in properties, yet differing only in number. So the non-living bioprosthetics or medical technologies, or other non-humans, have purely different properties, that from their self. It is not that the non-human lacks the qualities of human, rather they possess a distinct soul and body, or a distinct self that is nominal to human phenomena. This sense of intellectual superiority is thus a fallacy, what I can say, a phenomenological fallacy. Anyway, this point is that the medical non-human creates their world, their immanence, that disturbs and dominates the human self after such medical metamorphosis or a resurrection, you can say. In today's 21st century, animals and humans are dissected in the science lab, whereas Kafka's metamorphosis dissects human soul in the animal body. In this human-centered world, humans lack feelings for non-humans, in whom humans hardly think there is even soul or non-humans. Posthumanists or ego critics blame this anthropocentric nature of humans to bypass down the dissection of human soul successfully. Now, I would like to quote Kaelin Oldham in this perspection. He claims the metamorphosis states the idea of being a center of society and the center of family being altered. Gregor transformed into a bug, but he had the human soul. Therefore, he had the human nature, which judged how people round him changed because of this non-human body. The novel explores how, along with the change of Gregor's body, the nature of this family and society changed. This new body allowed him to see and understand about the human and the human nature, that he had failed to see as a human. So this is the kind of profit of being a non-human, or having a non-human figure. Hence, non-human body seems to have been a great advantage for him to understand the human nature. This nature of this Gregor Samsa, I would like to compare with this Anti-Oedipus by Giles Deleuze, because in Anti-Oedipus, what happens, the child is deviating, the child is alienating himself from the very bondage of parental bondage, from the very biological bondage, and he is already has putting a kind of wear, a kind of connection with the social machine. So what happens in the case of this Franz Kafka's hero, the Gregor Samsa, Gregor Samsa also has a kind of motive to be alienated from the society, from the human society, and this kind of anti-Oedipal success of this Gregor Samsa has been quite visible in this novella. So the notion is that the body can be changed at will in order to meet the desires and designs of its owner, okay, is one that has captured the popular imagination and underpins the contemporary medical practices such as cosmetic surgery and gender reassignment. In fact, describing the body as malleable or plastic has entered common parlance and dictates common sense ideas of how we understand human body in late capitalist consumer societies in the wake of commercial biotechnologies that work to modify the body aesthetically and otherwise. Now, if we are not satisfied with some aspect of our physicality in terms of health, functions, and aesthetics, we can engage with a whole variety of self-care body practices: fashion, diet, exercise, cosmetics, medicine, etc., etc. So, this is the very primal concern of what is this morphological freedom is the kind of concept. Underpinning this discussion and practices about modifying the human body through medical and biotechnological interventions is the philosophical concept of morphological freedom. The idea central to the discourses of transhumanism, obviously, but this transhumanism or humanist posthumanism is a kind of problematic thing, because to be transhuman, to be to overcome, to combat with the disease, what is the main basic objective of transhumanism is that to overcome all kind of combats, all kind of fights with the diseases, with the natural disorders, etc., etc. So obviously this is a very positive point to in terms of, at least in terms of sustainability, in terms of human existence, etc., etc. But this again raises a question. This again raises an ethical question, because to do this, you have to reject your animality or your animal origin of a human. Okay, so and also you have to be acquired, you have to be conformed to the materiality of objects, of non-living objects. Okay, so this material transformation is a kind of also fatalistic, and this can also pose a very catastrophic destruction of human race, human extinction. So I will explore this concept of morphological freedom in order to practice. Although there are many important philosophical questions regarding the body, identity, autonomy, and self-ownership at stake when considering the idea of morphological freedom, the primary focus is that sociocultural landscape within which biomedicine and so-called malleable body come together. This malleability or plasticity of body is of course central to the notion of morphological freedom. The idea being that if the body can be transformed or modified, we should not be prevented from doing so if this will improve or enhance our lived experiences. However, as all the elective medicine and the kind of interventions or cosmetic surgery and the enhancement produces, this produces are imagined by transhumanist and posthumanist thinkers are for the most part commercial practices. This is how this transhumanism or the kind of morphological freedom or this biomedical, etc. So this conforms or adheres to a kind of consumerism. I'd like to quote David Sterling in this respect of his conception of medical consumerism in the post Second World War period. During this time, he argues, medicine became positioned as a tool of self-realization, but this self-realization turns again into a means of self-destruction, as I can see. No doubt, this modern maladies of morphological freedom simply recalls the pathetic plight of Gregor Samsa. Now, I here also I discussed this morphological freedom in terms of medical post-humanities. Also, I have an idea that what is the regenerative medicine. The regenerative medicine is also having the same function. That is obviously catastrophic for the human race. Now, I may agree with this claim by Bruce Mazlish that the medicine became an object of human interest, means to an end accentuating the role of human being as a tool user medicine and medical technology is being being used for attaining the human morphological freedom, which is nothing but a posthumanist mirage. So therefore, in my title, I have put this term that it's a posthumanist mirage. In terms of, at least in terms of posthumanism, it's a kind of mirage. It's a kind of illusion. It's a kind of it's a kind of miracle that you adhere to touch, but you cannot. Okay, so I think this is the very hypothesis of my presentation, that what is the future? What is the kind of catastrophic or cataclysmic future of medicine, future of medical technologies, future of science? And this is the very concern of my presentation, and that's all. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and yeah.